Welcome to the Archie Real Estate Podcast, where we keep real estate simple for the new realtor, investor, or client. And now, your host, Muhammad Archie.
What's up, my people? We are back, the Archie Real Estate Podcast. We're going to just keep it rolling. I want to make one quick announcement. I want to pat myself on the back. I've been licensed for 10 years now. So I've been a licensed realtor for 10 years. If you need to buy, sell, or invest, make sure you call me. Or one of these realtors that have been on the show. Doesn't matter to me. But anyway, today's guest.
Josh Morales.
Josh Morales. Tell me more. Hold on. Wait a second. Josh Morales, the man, the myth, the legend. You hear this? You hear about this guy on so half of the episodes we've heard about Josh. That's about true. So I said I have to get Josh on, and I knew you weren't going to introduce yourself properly because you're just such a humble guy. But Josh does a little bit of everything. He's an investor. He's a business owner. He's a father. He's a husband. He's a TO. He's a brother. He's all those things. So Josh he's an influencer. I don't know if he knows that or not, but he's an influencer. So
appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Tell me a little bit about your beginnings in real estate. How long have you been in this game we call real estate?
Okay, well, it's going to go pretty far back. I don't know if you guys recall a gentleman by the name of Carlton Sheets, late 90s, early 2000s. He had an infomercial where they sold their, I think it was still VCR tapes, if I'm not mistaken. And my cousins and my brother invested in that time. So they got into real estate. I was kind of just their lackey. I was riding their coattails. I was doing construction for free for the next 3 years after that. During that process, I fell in love with the real estate game and what it was bringing them, obviously, not me. They were getting paid. I was basically learning. That was my education. But since then, I went right into the field of W-2 work. Had a child, got married, met the woman of my dreams. She's my rock, Jocelyn. And it took me another 20 years to realize that real estate is where I want to be at. So 7-8 years ago, I took it serious, and I've been a realtor for the last 12 years. So I did jump into real estate prior to that as a realtor. And even prior to that, I became a home inspector because I saw the gap in the Hispanic. The buyers were seeking home inspections, and as a realtor, I saw that the home inspection process was an issue. So I said, what's the issue? The lack of the language barrier there was an issue. So I jumped in, became a home inspector for 2 years, was very successful. And then that was 07, 08. And if you remember that market, after that, there was no home inspections needed for a while. So just stuck it out as a realtor for a little bit and helping other investors buy properties. I was just like, I should be on the other end of that.
Yeah, 100%. These checks look different.
Yeah, gotcha. I jumped in and I did the YouTube University. Just kind of asked all the right people the right questions, got some mentoring at the time, and I dove in. And we can get into more of that.
So I want to ask you, you just mentioned YouTube University. Who would you say over your time of watching YouTube and real estate influencers on YouTube, who's been the most influential for you?
I got to say Max Maxwell.
Okay.
Early on, I got right into the wholesaling game, and Max was, very similar to my upbringing, a man of color, and he was successful. So I was inspired by that.
It's interesting you said Max Maxwell. I've watched him since episode 1.
Yeah,
I literally watched every episode of him and the growth has been, he's in Dubai now doing some
he's doing
crazy
big
stuff.
things.
The growth is crazy just to see it over the years, but he's a guy that I've watched since episode 1 too. Yep.
Yeah.
You said, so the Sheets guy, I've never heard of him, by the way.
Carlton Sheets.
I've never actually heard of him. Was this like an infomercial where you're like laying on the couch one night and this infomercial came on, or how'd that work?
It wasn't me so much. My brother and my 2 cousins bought the DVD, VCR, whatever it was, and they watched it, introduced me to it. I kind of watched it. I didn't know what was going on. Later in life, I realized that he's similar to what you're seeing today, the we buy houses, cash type thing. So I didn't know that back then. I was just, like I said, I was riding her coattails. So I was getting free education. Then, I don't know, maybe 15 years later, YouTube University. Started off with wholesaling. I was working a W-2 job. Realized that I have all this money in my what do you call it? My 401k.
Sorry. Okay, yeah.
It's been so long since I had
it's like, what's a 401k?
So I realized that we can borrow from this 401k, invest in real estate and other assets. So I dug into that a little bit. I bought my first property with some money borrowed from that. The intention was to keep the first property as a rental. However, after I finished it, a close friend at that time was in need of a property. So she made me an offer and it stuck. Sold it to her and I made a really nice profit from that. So it was just all downhill from there.
So it sounds like uphill, you mean? It was all uphill.
Well, it got easier. Let's put it that way.
Right,
so
great, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So
financially went uphill.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So you sound like you've done an array of things within the field of real estate. You know, I always tell people when they get in, don't like, I talk to a lot of realtors and I'm like, don't just focus on being a realtor. You know, I'm a realtor. That's great. But there's a lot that you can do in the business of real estate. So you've done new construction. So now how much construction have you actually done? Have you built a house at this point? Or
I have. I actually, one of my W-2s earlier was I worked for builders and we built new construction.
Okay.
I've been a welder. I've been an electrician. I've been a mechanic. I worked at a nuclear power plant. So everything I used to do has something to do with today's success.
Okay. I
learned from all of it. The construction was huge for me though, because I can then later in life use that to my advantage. And, you know, I can walk into a house today and tell you what it's going to cost to repair, rehab, construction costs, but also labor costs, materials. And then being the home inspector, that gave me a good eye for what to look for, that sort of thing.
So you would say education is key?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, free education. Mm-hmm. That was me working for free for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. Put in the time. I mean, go to college if that's your thing, but my college was free work.
Nice. I mean, it's kind of nice. You know, who wants to work for free?
It wasn't so nice then. But,
yeah, exactly. It paid off in the end. That's nice. So tell me a little bit about your first wholesale deal. What was that like?
So that was in the city of Reading. Most of our work is here. And when I say we, I'm referring to our Flip Bros team. We do a lot of wholesaling in the city. We do some outside stuff, but my personal first wholesale deal was North 10th Street in the city of Reading. It was a distressed seller. At that time, I was door knocking. I was hustling. I was out on the street driving for dollars. And I saw this distressed property, knocked on the door, no answer. Property was vacant, so I talked to a neighbor. They connected me with the seller. We had the conversation, and he sold me the property for $22,000. And I shouldn't even call it a wholesale. It was more of a wholetail. We can get into that.
Okay.
I physically purchased the property and then resold it to another end buyer for $42,000. So I made a nice spread there. So wholetailing is actually taking ownership of the property as opposed to wholesaling where you just assign the contract.
Did you do any kind of work to the property or?
None.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
Okay, thanks. So that was your first wholesale deal. Tell me about a wholesale deal that just didn't work out quite the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, so that was pretty recent actually. Last year we had another distressed seller. She was a hoarder. Let me make sure that's good. And I bought this property sight unseen due to the fact that the conversation we were having was all over the phone. I sensed the distress in this person, and the price was so low that I figured I can't go wrong. There's just no way of losing on this deal. So I purchased a property sight unseen for $30,000. We had the tenant, somebody was living in it, and she moved out. And the minute we stepped foot in that place, it was just like something out of a horror movie. The floor was literally collapsed into the basement. you couldn't tell until you started to walk through and felt that there's no floor. You're standing on piles of stuff that's coming from the basement.
Wow.
Go up to the second floor and you can see the sunlight from the third floor attic. Like it was insane. Anyway, I took an L on that. I had to bundle that up with another house to get rid of it. That was a bad one.
Wow. Will you buy Sight Unseen again?
I will.
Okay.
I will. I just put an offer today that way.
Great. I mean, because, that's part of the game is the risk versus reward. And it's like, why, if something works for you, why stop using that method? Yeah. Sight Unseen. I'm scared of Sight Unseen. I don't think I would buy something Sight Unseen at this point, but you never know. Maybe one day. So, PA Flip Bros. Now, we had Andre on in an earlier episode. He was great, by the way. But you're the originator. You are the flip bro. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Okay. How'd that get started?
Started off by myself. So I started my rental portfolio 2017. And during that process, I was doing a couple of flips and holding properties. So when I finally got enough money to afford an attorney and an accountant, I talked to my attorney and she said I should probably form a separate entity for my flips for liability purposes and all that. So I created the PA Flip Bros with I did want to grow it. At that time, myself, my brother, and a couple other folks were flipping together, not so much as a partnership, but we did work together. So with the future thought of growing the PA Flip Bros, it's how I started it. By the way, the logo was inspired by the Monopoly man. A lot of people ask.
Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Mindset. That's a big keyword, mindset.
It is.
So you started PA Flip Bros with the thought of growing it, and now you've grown it to a team of about how many? So
we have seven team members and grown. We have like 3 that are on like a probationary thing right now.
Okay.
And that's how PA Flip Bros came about. It started as a couple young kids wanting to get into the business. They'd approach me. Hey, I want to flip houses. I want to be a realtor. I want to do this, anything real estate. And I never thought that I was a good teacher. But I always told them that if you're interested and you have the time, you're more than welcome to jump in my truck and see what I do. So that's where it started. 2 or 3 guys came along. They stuck, and we built a team around it. So now we have 7 that are full time with us, and the newbies as they come and go. That's why we don't say we have more than 7 until they're with us for at least 6 months.
Okay. Now, do you want to continue to grow that, or do you see yourself capping out at a number? Or
I think we do. Yeah, I honestly leave this up to the team. They're the ones now in the trenches doing all the work. I always tell them that you could find that one person that's going to be the next Andre. Let's put it that way. Andre's a beast. You had him on here. He's doing very well. By the way, shout out to the whole team. Devin and Crystal, who have been with me from way back when. The rest of the team are newer, maybe 2 to 3 years. Yeah, 1 to 2 years.
Nice. Tell me about what else you're doing. I know it's not just real estate, so tell me about your venue on the Boulevard. What's that about?
Yeah, so that actually came about as a purchase I wanted to purchase commercial real estate and rent out. At the time, it was an accounting office. And when we started construction there, we realized that once all the walls were down, that there was no need for any bearing structures throughout the middle of the floor. So we said, let's keep it open. At the time, we talked about this before that. My daughter had a baby shower a year and a half ago, and we had no choice but to rent out a big space because at the time there wasn't, I think we did 30 to 40 people. So we were forced to use a bigger venue. The cost involved in that was like a small wedding. So I saw a gap in that market where small venue in Reading or surrounding areas. That stuck with me. So when we opened this place up, I figured let's start a venue. And at that time, my wife Jocelyn and I, that's what we did. We opened it up, and now my daughter and niece are running it.
Nice. Do you see yourself like franchising any of this? Do you ever see yourself like saying, all right, listen, I have one venue on the Boulevard. I want to grow this. I want to open up another venue. Or I have the PA Flip Bros. Can I make the New York Flip Bros? Do you ever see yourself like branching out that way?
We do. So it's funny you say that. We're closing on a property in South Carolina in 2 weeks. The goal there was that this was a 2 years ago. I was trying to find a space in South Carolina. We have some roots over there. We have a very special girl, my granddaughter, who lives down there. So we want to be able to visit her. So I said, let's buy something down there. Maybe we can create another South Carolina Flip Bros. That was 2 years ago. And just so happens this in the next 2 weeks, we have a space we're closing on. So we will continue business down there. I'm not sure how that's going to look just yet, but I know it's going to happen. It's been a dream of mine for a little bit. As far as the venue goes, that's already been talked about. We're seeing another gap that could be filled in that space. I'm not a venue person per se, so I don't know too much about it. I do see a gap though, so I think in the near future we may expand and open a bigger space. But for now, I stick to real estate. That's my thing.
Yeah. So real estate for now, but you see yourself getting into other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could, yeah.
Yeah. I
it makes sense. I mean, I'm all about. I love startups. Like I love to see the local folks doing different things. I love to invest in them. I do some of that. I enjoy helping people. I don't know if that's, one of my goals is to be a philanthropist. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how much money I need to have. But I know that I have a good amount of time that I can invest in people. And if that's worth anything, I love to do that.
Nice. We'll get more into that in the next segment. We'll be back. So helping others, that seems to be a big part in helping people become successful, actually, is wanting to help others. Who helped you along the way that you would say played a key role in helping you be who you are today?
So first of all, God is my biggest mentor. I grew up in a very religious family. He's done everything for me. As far as in my physical upbringing, my dad was he was a hard worker. Growing up, watching him work all the time, I had no clue what was going on, because there was times he wasn't there for my games and school activities, and it wasn't until later in life I realized he was sacrificing for our families. My dad is the hardest worker I know till this day. God bless him. He's still alive. He's 73 years old and doesn't want to quit. And actually, I have mentors that don't even know they were my mentors. My brother, for example, Izzy, which
Yep.
Just watching him do what he's done with his business and success has been extremely, I learned so much from him. He doesn't even know that. It's probably the first time he's ever going to hear that. My two cousins, of course, Alex and Carlos, they taught me a lot. They taught me a lot of what to do and not to do in this business. Yeah. And I do like to give some thanks to a coach of mine at Muhlenberg when I was in 7th grade. Coach Mike Rowley. He was my track coach, and he may not know this either, but he was a big inspiration in my life back then when I needed him most. So, other than that, these days I have a ton of good friends. I keep my circle tight. Surround myself with positive people. I learned something new from everybody. Even my team, the guys that come in not knowing a single thing. I learned from everybody. So I've got a ton of mentors, but those folks especially stuck out. To this day, I thank them.
Nice. Yeah, Izzy's a great guy. I've known Izzy for a long time. Yeah, he's a character. I'm sure I got an episode reserved for him too. So let's do it. Yeah, we got Izzy reserved, but yeah, he's a great guy. So did you envision this, or is this just something where you were just like, you just put your head down and went to work? Or did you see yourself growing into this at any point, or was it just?
I do it, but it's for those that know me, I'm one of the most unorganized people, and my brain is just so scattered. But I do have visions. I have visions today of what it looks like in the next 5 to 10 years. Somehow, some way, I get there. There's no rhyme or reason on how I do it. It happens. But I do try to. I'm trying to do better with my organization. We're this new year, I want to hire a business coach. We're trying to build something with our team, as far as having a person for each role and responsibility to help keep the business organized a little better. I'm terrible with that. But through that, we still found success. So that goes to show that you just got to keep it moving. Just always fail forward.
Imagine once you add that business coach, what it's going to do for your business.
100%.
That's what you got to think about. I mean, I was talking to my wife about this earlier. Literally, I'm driving up, talking to her earlier on the phone, and I was like, I was like, we go with the flow. We do great for go with the flow. We buy properties, we flip properties, we sell properties, we do this. But I'm like, listen, we need to sit down and really just say, okay, we need to put this here, do that, do this, and it's life. I feel like, it is. You gotta love and enjoy life. You're not going to be great at everything, but you seem to be great at quite a few things. Mindset, motivation. What do those words mean to you?
They mean a lot. I preach that a lot to my kids, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't call them kids. They get my team. They're all younger than I am. So by the way, I'm 47 years old. So I look at them like as if they were my kids. I talk about mindset every single day. I think that's the key to all success, is personal, business, financial, whatever it is. Mindset is, whatever you put out into this world and universe, you shall get back. So that's huge for us.
When did it become huge? When did you start focusing on mindset? Was it something that you just kind of started studying along the way? Did you always have this kind of mindset growing up?
No, I didn't. As a matter of fact, I started off just like a lot of the folks in our business. Somebody talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book. Mm-hmm. And in 2016, I downloaded the book. I read it, or I listened to the audiobook. And that actually taught me about, it didn't just shift my mindset, but it taught me about what mindset is and what that means. We talk about mindset all the time, but we're never really taught how to change your mindset. And I struggled with that a lot. Everybody told me you have to have the right mindset. You got to change your mindset. Never really taught me how to do that. So throughout the years, I would focus a lot of energy towards that. What can I do to maintain the mindset that keeps me positive? And that's surrounding yourself with the right people, eliminating the negativity, stay off the TV. I listen to more books than I've ever have. To date, I probably read over 300 books since 2017.
Nice. What are you listening to right now?
Right now, I'm not listening to any books. I'm actually on a podcast that's pretty serious that I'm on to for the next couple months. That's, by the way, it's a plug. It's Ultimate Human, Gary Brecka. Okay. It's all about the body. Okay. That's where I'm headed nowadays at my age. I want to get my health better. And anyway, mindset, how do you maintain it? So surround yourself with the right people, just positivity all the time, and just whatever you put into your body, into your brain is what you're always gonna put out. So trying to focus on that. That's something that you're not taught. Kind of just are just told all the time. You got to have the right mindset. So I love to tell my team every single day. We wake up with inspiration and text. I probably drive them nuts, but it's to put positivity in front of them from the moment they wake up, in hopes that helps them to keep that mindset.
I feel like it has to be a conscious kind of thing, because if you're not focused on your mindset, it's going to slip. So I feel like you have to wake up in the morning focusing on your mindset. Absolutely. It's great that you do that.
The minute you wake up, the distractions start immediately.
Right away. Yep.
You wake up and first thing people do is grab their phones and they're checking social media and all the notifications.
And next thing you know, an hour has passed by. Yep.
It's
crazy. It's crazy. Tell me more about Josh and his leisure time. What do you like to do? Other than smoke cigars. We know Josh smokes cigars.
Love smoking cigars. Yes. But I enjoy spending time with my grandkids. That's I have 2 grandkids right now, one on the way. Faith and Caleb. Those are my prized possessions. But other than that, I love to golf. I like to spend time outside with the family. Although I hate shopping, I love taking my wife shopping because it's good times together. We laugh a lot. But I just love to be outside and spend time with good people.
Nice.
I don't ask for a whole lot. I'm pretty simple. Just simple life.
Any nicknames I don't know about?
Nah, man. Okay. No. There might be one, but if Izzy comes on, I'll let him take that one. But
I haven't asked many guests lately. Disclaimer. Oh, I got a disclaimer real quick. So, I call Josh. I think a great nickname for you is the Senator, and I'll tell you why. So we had a little murder mystery party. It was pretty fun.
Oh, that's right.
And Josh was the senator. He was the senator that night. He was his Senator Justice, I think was his name. Yeah. And he played a great senator. He was a little sleazy kind of senator.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I could see Josh being a senator, not the sleazy type.
Yeah. I was out of my element, but I did it.
I think that's a great nickname for you, the Senator. I like that.
That was a good time.
I'm here for it.
That's cool. I like that. That was fun. So, what's next? Like, where do you go from here? What do you see yourself doing next?
Well, the new year's coming. We're approaching the new year, so my focus is one, the business itself and restructuring the organization, trying to be a little more organized, and 2, we are tapping into that South Carolina market that we discussed earlier. So that's going to be 2 of my main focuses as far as business goes. And then personally, I just trying to be the best husband, father, grandfather I could be.
Good. Nice. When it comes to business, so you get these deals, these properties that come across your desk. How do you decide what to keep and what to sell?
Back in the day, we did this whole equation. We did the reverse engineering, and now I kind of just look at things and I know if it's a deal. And sometimes they're not always good deals. Not all of us are in this business for the instant gratification. I'm all about nowadays long-term stuff. So I don't mind buying turnkey stuff. I don't mind buying stuff that we could potentially add some value to, and even if I got to hang on to it for a few years and profit later. But a lot of our stuff, the business right now, the core business is wholesaling. I still do a lot of flipping on my own. I did take a little break this past year. Just needed a bit of a reset, but wholesaling is the core business. Do some flipping, and I still hold anything that makes sense.
Hold or flip? What would you prefer?
Hold all day.
Okay.
Flipping's more of a. I have a passion for. I love to flip. But it is a lot of work. Mm-hmm. I just enjoy it. The holds are that's where you build your wealth, I would say. You could cash flow a few bucks per month, but in the years to come is when that gap spreads, and it's where you build your wealth, build the legacy.
Buy your assets and let the assets fund your lifestyle.
That's it.
I gotta get better at that. I got a few rentals, but I gotta talk to you about building more. I need to get more rentals. So, do you see yourself getting in the commercial space?
I am. I'm actually doing that as we speak. I'm working on selling some of my single family assets to 1031 into commercial spaces. But they're hard to find right now. Anything good. As you know, I'm trying to do as much business as I can within the city. I love our city of Reading, and I have a passion for trying to leave some kind of an impact. I don't know what that looks like yet, but so I love going through all the different commercial spaces in the city. But we're finding a lot of our issues is this parking situation.
Yeah,
and converting stuff to apartments is an issue. There's not a lot of industry in the area anymore, so to lease out to those types of businesses is kind of so we gotta get creative, but that's something I'm passionate about. I want to try to be creative with some of these commercial spaces in the future. So I am working on that. I'm heavily seeking commercial properties right now. So if anybody out there has commercial spaces that they're looking to offload, let me know.
How can they reach you?
My direct phone number is 610-451-2970. Shoot me a text, or you can find us on social, Instagram, Facebook at PA Flip Bros.
Great.
Email is josh@flipbrosinc.com.
Nice. You may not have thought about this, but have you ever thought about running for mayor?
No.
Okay. Why not?
I'm just not into the politics.
Yeah.
Nothing good or nothing bad. It's just not my thing. No.
Got it. Fair enough. So
I lay very low, man. I try to stay off the radar, under the radar.
I feel like you can actually make more impact that way. I feel like you can actually do more just laying low and doing your business and not getting into the political side of things where it's, you know, you got to deal with this and deal with that. And, you know, it gets
God bless the politicians, man.
They're great at their job. They're great for what they do. But I agree with you. It's a tough job.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I was just so you're aware, I don't, this is my very first podcast.
Nice.
Again, I lay low. I love you, love your wife,
love you too,
love
bro.
your family.
Yeah.
So I'm more than honored to do this, but I typically decline this sort of thing. But
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, and I plan to get better at this and do more.
Definitely do more. I could put you on to some other podcasts if you'd like. You know what I mean? Thanks for coming on, though, for sure. So the city of Reading, business-wise, there's a lot that can be done there. Do we agree on that? Okay. What would you like to see within the city of Reading in the next 5 to 10 years? And what would you like it to look like business-wise? Like what could we do as a business community to make the city of Reading a better place?
I think the first thing is, and I know this is nothing against our city politicians or anything, but the parking situation is a major issue. I understand they're trying to fix that as we speak, but I would try to suggest, adopting what some of our surrounding cities have done, figure out what works for them. Then also make it a little more inviting for investors like ourselves, the smaller investors, to come in and start with residential properties. It's difficult. I understand the codes and we should all abide by them. However, they make it extremely hard to do things in the city. So that's very uninviting to investors. And that's why you're seeing what you see. You see a lot of guys, flipping properties and just slapping a coat of paint on stuff and selling it. That's just going to continue until we put something in place. The commercial side of things, we need some funding. I know that was around for some time, but where's the funding going? Put it in the hands of these smaller investors who are local, who are willing to make improvements to our city.
I truly believe all it takes is having the right people given those opportunities.
Absolutely.
I think you can see the city thrive.
And again, I understand this is a huge undertaking. It's more than what we can even think about, but you got to start somewhere. I honestly believe that investing in our local investors, provide funding, grants, whatever's out there for the taking, and watch it go into our community.
I'd love to see it. Love to see it. Let's take a quick break. Right back to wrap things up. So the city of Reading, I know that as investors, I think we all have a common vision. I think that we want to see it do better. We want to do this, but I also feel like there's some times where it's like, I have to do it. So I gotta be the guy to. I know that we would agree on this, but do you agree that holds the movement back?
This one's a tough one, man, because I look at that myself, like, what can I do myself, little old me in this big city of Reading, to make that big impact? I always feel like if you just get one person to do that one building that's impactful, then it's just like a domino effect. We talk about this a lot within the team. We say, let's just buy a building and dump serious money, change the facades out, do what these other cities are doing, and then just see what happens. But it's not a smart.
It's almost like why,
move, but it's I don't know. It's you almost got to get a group of folks together with the same mindset and just make that move. I mean, that's something I would love to be a part of.
Let me know how I can help. If we can help get a group of like-minded individuals together to move something forward that's positive and that can help build the city, let me know how I can help.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you know as well as I do. As a youngster, I remember the talk about the riverfront and how that was gonna explode and
it should have.
And it should have,
yes.
And it didn't happen. So there's I hate to say it, but we put these expectations out to our residents, and it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. So you wonder why nobody has pride in home ownership. And
can you imagine the difference that would have made within the city of Reading?
But well, now what's the big talk is the train, and we believe that that's coming. And I do have faith that is coming. I
hope it's coming because listen, I lived in Reading for a long time. We've been talking about the train. Hey, we've been talking about bringing Penn Street up. And I'm just like, neither one's happened yet. So hopefully we're not talking much longer about it. I remember, high school days on Saturday mornings, I would have basketball practice and the outlets were open.
Oh, yeah.
I would literally be bumping into people as I'm walking to basketball practice. I would have to be like, excuse me, because I would dribble the ball to practice and I would literally have to go around people and buses are coming. It was so busy. It was so energetic. And that was just early 2000s, that was like 2002.
It's sad.
So, yeah. It's
sad, and that's what I mean. Like it leaves a sour taste in some of our longer residents. They were not that they were promised, but they were expecting something that was said by our community leaders, and here we are. We've hit rock bottom how many years ago, and it's time for us to come up.
Hopefully, we can help do that. Hopefully. So, what would you tell your younger self? You had one conversation, one message that you could tell yourself when you're 14, 15, what would it be?
I think I wouldn't really do much different, but I would probably tell myself to listen to my elders a little more. I wouldn't say I wasn't a bad kid, but I just.
You had your own mind.
Had my thing.
Yeah, you do.
I went my own way.
Yeah.
But I would listen to my elders. I had so many people who used to give me so much good advice that I know now, business related, personal life related, and just kind of ignored it. But listen to your elders.
Nice. They
know what they're talking about. They may seem like old people to you as a youngster, but they know what they're talking about.
Nice. Influence, motivation. You're doing more podcasts, right?
I could.
Okay, cool.
Could see something like that.
Cool. What about speaking? Do you see yourself doing speaking or engagements or anything
I don't know. I struggle with that. I would love to. I got to figure that out. Something I've struggled with for years.
Yeah.
I've declined a lot of speaking events because of that, but I would love to. I think that's something that I can work on.
I think it's something you could do. Something you can do pretty easily. Last question for you. Do you consider yourself successful? If you do, why do you consider yourself successful? And if you do not, why do you not consider yourself successful?
Well, I look at success as it's a basic word in the dictionary. You put out a goal, you put in a plan, you achieve that goal. That's success. And I do a ton of that. And there's times where I fail, I hit a wall, but you get back up and you keep going. So yes, I'd say I'm successful. Personal life, financially, business, I do see myself as a success.
Nice. Hopefully you just keep going and more success to you, my brother.
I appreciate it.
Josh Morales, the Archie Real Estate Podcast. We'll be back. Hey, Happy New Year. It's going to be 2024. You know what I mean? Happy New Year to everybody. Hope to see you back for season 2. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. Stay posted. See you soon. Enjoy yourself. Don't get too crazy out there. Thanks for watching or listening to the Archie Real Estate Podcast. You can find me on YouTube at the Archie Real Estate Podcast. Find me on Facebook as well, Muhammad Archie. Email me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, marchie@archierealtor.com. Shoot me a text, 484-338-3406. That's my phone number, direct. Shoot me a text. Got any questions? Let me know. I hope to see you on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Archie Real Estate Podcast, and we thank you for listening. Email Archie directly at marchie@archierealtor.com with any questions. If you are ready to begin your real estate search, visit archierealtor.com. See you on the next episode.